Hey everybody, today we've got another community poll recap. This is number 6, so let's get right into it. We'll get on the community tab, we'll take a look at all the polls that are at least 1 month old, and I appreciate all the votes, most of the comments. Sometimes I respond, sometimes I just like to read it back and forth between you guys. Either way, the oldest one we've got on here is, what other declared GOP candidate is the strongest? Nikki Haley tops out at 53%, Vivek Ramaswamy is at 19%, Asa Hutchinson 9%. 19 have no opinion. This is before a bunch of other candidates join the race, and it depends how you define strongest, but I would agree Nikki Haley, she would probably have the best chance of these three. Definitely not Asa Hutchinson. Ramaswamy, I've given my opinion on him before. I don't think he's necessarily prepared for the top spot yet, so Nikki Haley, lover or hater, would probably be the strongest. Next, what is your opinion on banning bump stocks? 27% strongly support, another 7% support, 35% are neutral, 11% oppose, 19% strongly oppose. This is one where probably not a ton of people are going to look way into bump stocks. I haven't even done it myself, but if there is something that would readily make something into a fully automatic weapon, I can see having some support for banning that. I don't think that would necessarily get into any Second Amendment issues, unless of course the legislation goes too far. But neutral here is the winner, and I get it, this is not a topic a lot of people are thinking about. Let's go on to the next question. What is your opinion on the DNC making South Carolina the first primary for 2024? Not a lot of support here. 15% either support or strongly support, 53% neutral, 20% oppose, 12% strongly oppose. A lot of the arguments are made in the name of diversity. In the general election, South Carolina will not be a swing state, but I think a lot of people do just view this as a way to protect Joe Biden, moving it away from New Hampshire, where he's going to have much less support. South Carolina is where he took off from back in 2020, so beneath the surface, it seems like it's a move much more in line with just protecting the establishment, or more specifically the incumbent Biden. Next, how likely is Dianne Feinstein to resign before the end of her term? 14% very likely, 14% likely, 40% 50-50, 21% unlikely, and 12% very unlikely. Yeah, this one's tough to say. Her health really seems to have deteriorated. She missed a lot of time in the Senate. Then there's all kinds of weird blowback, just for pointing out what's extremely obvious, that she's not at the top of her game anymore. Maybe a step aside to have Newsom appoint somebody younger, but apparently some people found that to be highly offensive. I'm not one of them, but as for Feinstein actually resigning, I'm pretty much right in the middle. I could see eventually maybe everything gets to her and she finally does step aside, or I could see her sticking it out till the end, especially if her health levels off or improves. Next question. What is your opinion of Andrew Yang? Only 4% very favorable, 15% favorable, another 50% are neutral this time, 21% unfavorable, 10% very unfavorable. Yang's popularity has kind of waned over the last couple of years. Ever since he tried to start his own third party, a lot of Democrats despise him. They think it'll siphon off votes from the Democrats, and it probably would. But if that's the only reason for opposing Yang, I would hope there's a little bit more substance to it. Maybe take a look at his policies, where he stands on the issues. He was big on universal basic income. Somehow he seems to have backed off of that, if I'm not mistaken. That should be a major part of his platform. Other than that, he probably doesn't have much of a chance in this third party. And like with a lot of people in politics, there's going to be things you're going to like and not like about him. It all depends on what you want to emphasize. Next, more desirable goal, equality or equity? 71% equality, 29% equity. This is another topic where, when trying to define equity, you're going to get a lot of different answers from a lot of different people. Generally, it does seem like we're comparing equality of opportunity to equal group outcomes. And I think there's no question, if you're going to focus on equity, I think that's just going to divide everybody, even more so along the usual group identity lines. Equality of opportunity, in my opinion, could be as simple as something we just mentioned with Andrew Yang. Universal basic income, everybody gets that. That is certainly a good baseline to start at. If you're only focused on group outcomes, then you're going to include a lot of individuals that don't need it, and you're going to exclude a lot of individuals that do need it just for the sake of the group. So that is going to be a contentious topic. I can understand why equality won, even though defining these terms might be hard to pinpoint. Next topic, which country is the biggest overall threat to the U.S.? The winner by far is China with 82%, only 2% from North Korea, 8% Russia, 6% other, 3% no opinion. I don't think much explanation is needed. China is certainly a big economic threat. They're very capable militarily, And unlike Russia, which seems to be just denounced by everybody, there are a lot of times I've seen people push back at the idea of criticizing China. So let's move on to the next question. What is your opinion of Anthony Fauci? 9% very favorable, 20% favorable, 19% neutral, 9% unfavorable, 43% very unfavorable. This again depends on what you want to emphasize. Fauci has become a symbol of the establishment. He's kind of the guy people want to bring up in the name of science if they want to go against Donald Trump. I'm sure he's been right on plenty of things, but with the focus being on COVID, there was a lot of things early on that he should have done differently or should have said he didn't know. And I think he went too hard too fast. And then I would say he's come off as unwilling to recognize his shortcomings and take enough of the blame. And I'm sure some other people are going to focus on covering up information about a lab leak, gain of function, or a number of things that might tarnish Fauci's reputation. Next question. Which state will be the closest in 2024? 10% Arizona, 42% Georgia, 12% Nevada, 14% Pennsylvania, Wisconsin at 23%. So Georgia was the clear winner there, and it really could be any one of these. Some people in the comments did mention North Carolina. I would have added that if I could have put a sixth choice, but there's so much speculation this far out, it's hard for me to actually pick one of these states. The next question, closer 2024 electoral vote, Maine second or Nebraska second? Nebraska second, the winner there, 79%, 21% for Maine second. Well, back in 2020, Maine second win for Trump by about 7.5%. Nebraska second, a little over 6. So those are close elections. I think worth asking about, but most people think it's Nebraska second, so we'll go with that. Next question, more likely to lose, Andy Beshear or Tate Reeves? 37 for Beshear, 63 for Tate Reeves. It did seem like Tate Reeves would be more vulnerable than Beshear, but now that we've had the Kentucky primary, it's Daniel Cameron going up against Beshear. Maybe it gets more competitive. It's hard to say this far out if Reeves will win comfortably or if he'll collapse, or if Beshear's popularity gives him a wide margin, or he'll be in danger of losing to Cameron. The last question here is, how secure is the U.S.-Mexico border? 4% very secure, 8% secure, 15 neutral, 20 unsecure, and 54 very unsecure. I would only say it's secure if there is basically zero illegal immigration across the border, but there's plenty of coverage that does show there's a lot of chaos at the border, and it doesn't really matter who's in office. If there's a lot of people flowing across, if there's places with a lack of physical barrier that prevents migrants from free-flowing over the border, that's an issue. We've seen people being flown to other states. I would think if the border was secure, that would not be happening. I don't even know the extent of how bad it is. I've seen certain Democratic politicians that don't even want to go, or they don't want to address any concerns. And then I've seen other ones go down there and say it's a total mess, and nobody wants to do anything about it. So there's going to be different narratives. It seems like most people think it's at least unsecure, and I know there's different ways to define secure, but a clear majority says very unsecure. So that's a look at the community polls. I appreciate the comments, the votes. Keep on voting and commenting. Let me know in the comments, do you enjoy these polls, the variety of topics, the different kinds of questions? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.